Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWE Smackdown live review for November 15th, 2016. I'm here today to finally do a review. I know, guys, I've been gone for quite a while. I haven't done a review in almost 2 weeks on either Raw or SmackDown, and you guys already know how I feel about Raw at this point. I am fucking deadbeat tired of Raw's lame-ass builds, lame-ass 3-hour shows, and lame-ass pretty much everything they fucking do. Getting into just Raw alone, I'd have to say that Raw's top star should be Chris Jericho as the WWE Universal Champion. Kevin Owens shouldn't even be a champion, period, on Raw. He doesn't even look like he fits in. He don't look like a real champion. He don't even look like he exists. He just holds a championship belt on his shoulder, and that's about all he's got to say for himself. SmackDown. Getting into this. I didn't watch SmackDown last week, unfortunately, because of I was just really busy. I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown, so I couldn't do the review in a timely fashion. So I didn't want to do a review that was so late and where people wouldn't give a shit. But I'm going to do this review. I did not really watch this whole entire episode. I watched the beginning show and the last part of the show. What made me not watch the whole entire show is real simple. I was extremely pissed off. 30-minute great match with a horrible, fucking illogical ending I saw. Dolph Ziggler defends the Intercontinental Championship against The Miz. You're getting an awesome match between these two guys. You see Miz hitting the flying knee that Daniel Bryan used to do when he was a wrestler, and then hitting the skull-crushing finale. He gets 1, 2, and then by third count, Dolph Ziggler kicks out. I'm going, holy shit, we are going to see Dolph Ziggler retain. I'm liking the ending here. It's looking good. Everything's going fine. Dolph Ziggler hits the zigzag. He's by the ropes, unfortunately. He puts his foot on the rope, so we're building some heightened drama in the match to find out who's going to be the winner, but deep down you think that it's going to be Dolph Ziggler. At the end of the day, the fucking Spirit Squad, who gives a shit about, shouldn't even exist at this point, gets super kicked by both of them by Dolph Ziggler. Then out of nowhere, fucking Miz is trying to get a one over on Dolph Ziggler. It doesn't. Gets a roll-up pin, but they're by the ropes. His wife pushes Dolph Ziggler forward so that he can have Miz on top and Dolph Ziggler on the bottom to get a 1, 2, 3 on a simple little roll-up pin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this review is going to be a little bit much about the Intercontinental title match, because I have to rant on this. This has got to be mentioned. Why in the hell would you have Dolph Ziggler beat Miz at the No Mercy pay-per-view with his career on the line, knowing full well Dolph Ziggler has re-signed a new contract with WWE? You're going to keep him for a long period of time, have him win the belt, and then 3 weeks later have him lose the belt? Or a month later have him lose a belt before he's supposed to face Sami Zayn at Survivor Series, which, by the way, probably could have been the show stealer of the fucking night, for God's sakes? I don't quite understand the logic behind this. I would have rather seen The Miz go ahead, hit the flying knee in the skull-crushing finale, and have that as the ending. At least, for God's sakes, it would have been logical. I mean, yeah, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler kick out of every fucking thing that The Miz threw at him, and he's in a fucking little simplistic roll-up pin that The Miz got help from his wife to get the advantage on Dolph Ziggler. He can't kick out of that? Are you fucking kidding me? Really? You gotta be out of your mind to think that any of this was logical. There was nothing logical. The whole bottom line is, the logic was Dolph Ziggler retains the fucking championship. If you're gonna have him kick out all these fucking finishers that freaking The Miz threw at him. He had him even in a fucking sharpshooter, and he didn't fucking tap out to that. He climbed his way to the rope and got the rope break. All of this shit should have been leading to Dolph Ziggler being the man and retaining the title. He had all the advantage, and yet because he was in a roll-up pin with a screw job finish, he can't kick out of a fucking roll-up pin? Come on. Who's kidding who here? Vince McMahon's laughing his way to the bank while he's making us all look like a couple of fucking idiots and insulting our fucking intelligence. I think this is utterly ridiculous. Probably the worst thing they've done in about several months now. This was the worst decision ever. They could have had Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn having a show stealer of a night at Survivor Series, showing that Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn deserve more recognition, more main event spots, and yet they're getting nothing. Sami Zayn's now probably going to face The Miz and lose in a screw job finish. And it's going to be a lame, horrible match. Miz is going to retain, and Sami Zayn's going to look like shit. I think this is utterly ridiculous. I don't like this whole scenario. I think this match is going to absolutely, positively suck ass and make Sami Zayn look even worse than he already is. And it's not even Sami Zayn's fault. Dolph Ziggler misses out on a fucking main event marquee match on a main card with Sami Zayn, where they could steal the show with a minor championship that can get more prestige, and yet they don't want to do that. Come on. Because Dolph Ziggler is the good guy and Sami Zayn's a good guy. This guy is living in a fucking fantasy world. Stop trying to make this like a goddamn fucking, movie. Make it authentic. Make it logical. Make it realistic. That's what it used to be. It used to be realistic. Didn't feel so much of a movie. Yeah, it had a movie type theme to it. Yeah, okay, fine. But it still had realistic, logical reasoning behind it. None of this shit right now in the last couple of years has made absolutely any fucking sense. Not to mention they totally contradict themselves on advertisements. They say the same fucking... I've heard this fantasy warfare has gotten real shit more times than I can count and make me want to gouge my fucking eyes out of my head or make myself deaf so I don't have to hear this shit. Now, literally, I wouldn't do that because I like to see and hear, but listening to this shit is God-forsaken horrible. I can't deal with it. The Smackdown, another thing, they call it Smackdown Live. Why can't they just call it Smackdown? We know it's live. What do you think? We're fucking stupid? Apparently they think we are because they insult our intelligence every fucking time they put on a show. I mean, come on here. Then we get The Undertaker coming out with the Cutting Edge, which actually was pretty good. I liked how they were kind of fucking forgetting all about Survivor Series and building with AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose for TLC for their World Championship match December 4th. Which I can't believe they're having a fucking pay-per-view on December 4th. 2 weeks after the fucking Survivor Series. What kind of fucking build are they going to build with this? This is shit. They've been focusing all on this time with the Survivor Series match, yet these two guys haven't had any focus on the world title for their match at TLC. Their match should be at fucking Survivor Series. That damn world title should be defended. There shouldn't be no fucking retarded with those two in a Survivor Series match. There's no way they're fucking Survivor Series tag team partners. They're enemies. Why would you have so many enemies on a tag team that could explode on each other and split apart? The whole thing's stupid. Raw's team is fucking discombobulated. They all hate each other. They all want to kill each other. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns has had a rivalry out the ass for 2 years since they broke up the Shield. And now all of a sudden they're good old friends again as the Shield. Come on. you can't just fucking automatically get them to start liking each other because Seth Rollins came to his senses and realized how fucking stupid he was to leave the Shield and go to the Authority and then realize he was getting fucked over at the end of the day. Come on, man. Really, like the Monday Night Football catchphrase they say, come on, man. This is stupid. Really. The whole thing is fucking idiotic. You got Kevin Owens and fucking Seth Rollins on a team. You got Chris Jericho as Kevin Owens' butt buddy, who is more popular than Kevin Owens, and he's the world champion. Come on. The whole thing is retarded. The whole entire thing makes no fucking sense. And I've said this a gazillion times, as much as they say fantasy warfare got real. Get out of here. Goldberg and Brock Lesnar is not any fucking fantasy warfare. There's nothing fantasy about it. They already had a match at fucking WrestleMania 20 and it sucked cock. Hopefully this one might be a bit better than the WrestleMania 20 travesty. But for all we know, it probably turned out to be just as crappy on purpose by Vince McMahon telling them, just do a shitty match. It's okay. Those people paid good hard-earned money to go see this event. We might as well give them a shitty show for 4 hours. Not 3, 4. Survivor Series getting 4 hours. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? Come on. 4 hours for Survivor Series, which has been considered to be the worst out of the 4 major pay-per-views. It's the least favored pay-per-view and has been considered to be eliminated from WWE's pay-per-view scheduling for the year. On multiple different occasions, may I add. From year after year, they've considered about getting rid of it. The last decent Survivor Series event that I remember watching was Survivor Series of 2014. That was a fun and enjoyable event, with Sting randomly popping out of the end of by the end of the show, helping Dolph Ziggler win, and that should have been the moment where Dolph Ziggler was starting to build back up to a main eventer. And of course, WWE, being WWE, did nothing with that. They did absolutely nothing. Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler at the end of that match was golden. They were great together. And then they have have Seth Rollins or Dolph Ziggler win and do nothing from that point. He gets fired instead a month later, after they finally got John Cena to break his word to have the Authority back. This script writing for WWE has been shit since 2012, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Lack of energy, lack of enthusiasm, lack of effort, lack of everything, and most of all, lack of creativity. Dialogues are horrible, the characters are bland and boring. It's not the wrestlers' faults. They are actually the only reason what makes worth watching a pay-per-view event for championship matches. So, that's just my feelings towards that. Now, getting back to the main event that I watched, the main event segment, which was Undertaker and Cutting Edge, I liked it. I thought it was decent. I wish they would have had Undertaker say, you know what, Shane, move aside, the dead man's coming. He says he's coming back to claim souls and dig some holes. And it's not all about the WrestleMania gimmick anymore. It's just about him beating people's asses. Okay, fine. That's very logical reasoning to say that, simply because they decided to strip him of his undefeated streak against Brock Lesnar 2 years ago. So that's fine. I can understand them having him say something like that. But not to have, if he's going to say that, why not have him go join the Smackdown team to go up against the Raw team? That would have been perfect. Not to mention, he wouldn't have to do a whole lot of... His time in the ring could have been limited down so he's not getting injured or anything. He has some, some activity involved in participation with the match. And maybe even be the sole survivor and help the team win. Or have him and Randy Orton walk away as the two guys. Maybe have Randy Orton turn on The Undertaker and still win the Survivor Series matchup pay-per-view. And then build a match between him and Randy Orton for Royal Rumble or something like that. I think that would be pretty good for a Alamo Dome of 60-something plus thousand people you could fit in that arena or that stadium, and have those two guys go at it in a really good rivalry match. I mean, yes, they faced each other before in the past, but it more be like the fact that Randy Orton turned on his own partner to help get glory off of Undertaker, so that he could collect on all the glory of helping the team win, which is, you know, something that Randy Orton would do in the past, or has done in the past, and would work out great. So it'd be kind of similar to 2005 Survivor Series, only Undertaker wasn't involved in the match. He just happened to appear after the match ended, with Randy Orton winning the match and getting the victory for the Smackdown team. So, I mean, I think that would have been great, or at least had some sort of thing going on. Maybe had The Undertaker face AJ Styles for the world title at the Royal Rumble, leading that into that, and having Undertaker win and going all the way to WrestleMania and losing to someone. Maybe John Cena, I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Who cares? Just my saying. I'm not pointing any fingers or saying that should happen, but it's just a nice creativity idea that they could do. Not that many people, I think, would agree with me on that, which is totally fine. Everyone has their own opinion on that, but I think that would be awesome. But I think AJ Styles versus John Cena for WrestleMania 33 would be the perfect idea, since AJ Styles has had the number over John Cena in many different occasions. So, I mean, about the only victory John Cena's gotten is in a 6-man tag match. So that's not so much to brag about. But with all that being said, this show would have been worth watching if Dolph Ziggler would have retained the championship. Not to mention, Dolph Ziggler's match should have been the main event with The Miz. But because of that finish, I can understand why they wouldn't have made that the fucking main event. Because that was a shitty fucking ending. Bottom line is, you gotta be cracked to think that this show was at all good. Based on just the first match itself. Everything else after that falls apart. There was no reason for Dolph Ziggler to lose this match. Dolph Ziggler had the best opportunity possible. They were building him up in the best possible way, and then they stripped him of everything. Why? I have no idea. That question is very good to ask for Vince McMahon. Of course, how the hell are you going to get an answer from the stupid old son of a bitch? And not to mention, the fact is, where is the logical reasoning behind that when, if you think this rationally, think of this rationally, Dolph Ziggler loses to Miz for the third consecutive time when they competed on SmackDown before No Mercy. At that point, Dolph Ziggler should have became a heel at this point. He should have said to himself, you know what, The Miz might be right. Cheating is the only way to go, the only way to win, and the only way to become a major threat in this damn company. So I might as well go forth with that. Now when you do look at this match, this is what it looks like. The same scenario. Dolph Ziggler should just become a heel. He should be an absolute, complete dickwad douchebag who should not care about nothing but cheating at any cost to win. And that's the way it looks like. And that's a good idea, but why ever make Dolph Ziggler become the champion in the first place? There was no reason for it. Absolutely none. Because you're going to do something like that. And for what reason? So that we could have a good guy versus bad guy scenario? Come on, Vince. And going back to Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, Vince McMahon knows, and I mean knows for a fact, they're going to Toronto, Canada. Brock Lesnar lives in Toronto, Canada, which I actually found out a couple of weeks before this event was actually going to start, which I was shocked by. I kept hearing and rumors that the WWE is afraid of fans cheering for Brock Lesnar in Toronto. I'm just kind of like, why? What the fuck is so big about Toronto for Brock Lesnar? And I found out that he actually is a resident there. So I can understand why they would cheer for him at that point. So Vince McMahon's expecting WWE fans to boo the hometown guy that lives there, is a humongous name in Toronto, Canada, and they expect him to get booed. That's like expecting fucking Bret the Hitman Hart to get booed in Montreal, Canada against the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. You are fucking cracked. That is the most illogical, idiotic thing I have ever heard in my fucking life. How you can say, I want Brock Lesnar to be booed as a bad guy and Goldberg cheered as a good guy in Brock Lesnar's hometown where he lives. Big name that you built up into this big, phenomenal marketing cash cow. You want him to be a bad guy in his hometown and for the hometown to boo their hometown hero. Are you really that much on drugs, Vince? Because if you are, I highly recommend getting off of them. They're not doing good things for you. Especially for your brain. It's really fucking you up. Because quite frankly, like I just said, that is like expecting Montreal, Canada from 1997 Survivor Series to boo Bret the Hitman Hart and cheer for Shawn Michaels. And I don't think that was a major concern to Vince back in that time. He didn't give a shit which one was getting cheered because both of them were actually bad guys. They were both heels. They both did dirty tactics during that time. They were both assholes, and they both went ahead and had their own group. Shawn Michaels had Triple H in China with the D-Generation X, and he had his Heart Foundation. And they used those two guys to do, those two groups to do things for him to help them get advantages and wins over their opponents. So, like, who cares? Why give a shit about who's playing the good guy, who's playing the bad guy role? It don't matter. Just care whether or not the match is good enough that the fans don't boo all over it and hijack this match and just cheer and go, holy shit, this was entertaining. That's what I'd be concerned about, not about who's going to be cheering for who. Who gives a shit? This should be like a fucking... There is no good guy, bad guy scenario. This should be two juggernauts wanting to tear each other's fucking heads off and want to win to be claimed the biggest badass on the planet. That's all it should be about this match. There shouldn't be no, he's a heel, he's a good guy, blah 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 bullshit. But that's just my SmackDown review, my rants scenario here on this whole build to Survivor Series and this whole logical thinking of this pay-per-view and both of the shows for both Raw last night for November 14th and tonight's episode of November 15th of 2016. If you like the episode of the review for Smackdown Live November 15th, 2016, and fuck that live shit, Smackdown November 15th, 2016 review, hit that thumbs up. Leave your comments and opinions down below. What you thought of the, what you think of this build, how you feel critically about it, and what you would do possibly to make it better. Because quite honestly, looking at this in comparison to NXT Toronto Takeover or Takeover Toronto, I'll take NXT. And I haven't watched NXT hardly at all. Actually, I haven't watched NXT. Period. I haven't watched none of it, and I'm more invested in that, and I haven't watched any of the build, and I'd rather watch this freaking pay-per-view over fucking Survivor Series at this point. But anyway, guys, hit that thumbs up, leave your comments and opinions down below, and hit that subscribe button, and have a great night.